Welcome to the round table. Today's video is 5 things every new Insurgency player should know. First things first, I'm going to jump into general settings in HUD. I would like to say that a lot of the settings are all personal opinion. I'll break down some of it more in detail, some of it will be less detailed. View bob is the up and down motion with the amount depending on your speed. Like an explosion goes off or anything like that that shakes your screen. That's view bob. You know, so I like to play with that off so I incur less of that up and down. I like to show the game's HUD as much as possible. I always have my compass on. Always show fire mode selection. That way, you know, I can, when I'm switching between fire modes, I know what I'm on. When it comes to like always show cosmetic selection, you can create presets and you can change it depending on map, which is a useful feature, but at the same time, I just create just one preset look that I really like, and that's what I stick with. When it comes to color scheme, also another personal preference one. I like to play on vivid just because it changes the colors up a little bit and makes them a little brighter, easier to see in my opinion. Friendly cover overrides commander and observer, so if you have your friend colors on, you know, you can put that on. Objective indicator, I have mine turned down to 60 just because it lessens the solidness of it, but not too much that you don't see the objective indicator anymore. But it's also good once you're on an objective or pushing an objective if somebody's in a window. It's more transparent, you can see them. You can get shots on target. Show controls, minimap, all this stuff is just replays and spectating, so none of it really matters much, to be honest. On to controls, auto lean, manual bipod, I have those both turned off. When it comes to controller layout, I stuck with standard. This is personal preference. It's all on what you would like. So if there's any, if you have any questions, I mean, it's personal preference. Figure out which one you like the most. Like, I know a lot of people play on classic, where you switch primary and secondary and weapon menus triangle, and yeah, that's fine and dandy. You could use classic if you want. A lot of people use classic. I myself am a fan of the standard. I feel like they did a good job with how everything's separated from each other on standard. So, just in my personal preference, I play on standard. When it comes to sensitivities, there's, like I said, personal preference. Aim, even with the aim sensitivity curve, personal preference. Play around with your sensitivities. I've seen a lot of aim guides on YouTube on this stuff, and everybody's saying 0.5 ADS is the best, this, that, and the other. And to be honest with you, I've been playing FPS shooters for a long time. I've always played on faster senses. I've always felt more competitive at faster senses, so I play on relatively higher sensitivities than most people on this game, and I've been slowly working my way up to playing on as high a sensitivity as I can get to that's comfortable for me. Now aim dampening, I am going to get a little into this one for you guys. With this game not having aim assist, we have aim dampening, which is just whenever you're close to target or on target, it slows your aim a little bit. Now, I haven't really noticed too much of it, but I still have all mine on the default settings. I wouldn't play around with this too much if I was you. Vibrations, I have that turned down to 0 just because. Controller battery, all that stuff. Vibrations always. Wear your batteries out. Left stick dead zone and right stick dead zone. I don't have a whole lot of stick drift, so I don't have to set mine way high or way low. You know what I mean? So I keep my, if I had 0-0, there would be some stick drift. Even just from the weight of my thumbs, there'd be a little stick drift. So I keep mine on just 0.1000, and it's good. When it comes to video, gamma, that's a personal preference. You know, that's overall brightness of the game. It's whatever you want. Field of view is also personal preference. I do recommend having it on 100 so you see more of the battlefield at all times. That's my preference. But if you want the targets to be a little bigger, but you see a little less of the field, you play on 90, or if you want them to be way big, you can put it on the default 70. If you feel fine on default 70 and you don't feel like changing field of view, by all means, stay with it. I like to turn off motion blur. It's one of the things I've always turned off. Just, I don't see the need to have my screen blurred when I'm running and everything. I like to see the detail. I like to try to pick up on as much as possible when I'm running around the battlefield. When it comes to audio, the only thing you can mute the beeps, the radio beeps, you can mute the ear ringing. I leave all that on because in my opinion it's kind of just, I don't know, it adds to Insurgency feeling like Insurgency. Now music in the game I do turn down to 10% just because when I'm last alive I don't want to hear the music when I'm trying to listen for footsteps and where the enemies are. I want to be able to pinpoint them. You know, so that's also personal preference. Like I said, a lot of the settings are all personal preference in this game. I just wanted to go through the general settings real quick with you guys. Show you guys what I'm working with, show you how to turn your compass on, you know, all of that stuff. Show you the field of view, or show you that you can mute the radio beep and all of that. Just wanted to show you guys some of that settings if you're a new player. But yeah, that's my general settings in HUD. Now we're going to jump into a gameplay and I'll discuss the other 4 points. Okay, so point number 2, there's some things that I wish I knew when I started. So this is all about utilizing the in-game mechanics to your advantage, such as sliding off ledges for speed boosts when pushing or retreating OBJs. Sliding off a ledge also gives you the advantage of you could shoot in midair instead of just running off a ledge or jumping off a ledge. You'll have to wait till you hit the ground and your character does like a little it takes a second or two before you can pull the trigger. You could also utilize sliding off of ledges into B hops, which is right before you hit the ground. Right as you hit the ground, you jump and hit the run button, and you'll be able to carry that momentum, that speed boost, that momentum from that. Other mechanics such as wearing a gas mask to muffle your in-game character's voice, so like when you're getting onto an OBJ, when your character screams capturing Charlie, it's muffled and makes it harder for the enemy team to hear your guy's call out and pinpoint you. Other mechanics such as being able to throw grenades back. That's one thing it took me a while to learn. When somebody throws a grenade at you, most people don't properly cook grenades in this game. So if you look down and press triangle, you should have more than enough time to throw the grenade back. Now, how to properly cook your grenades. There's two different types of throws when it comes to grenades. So, with the left trigger, you can underhand toss it. That's a short toss. And with the right trigger, you can overhand toss it, which is a longer toss. Now to properly cook your grenade, when you hear that first pin on the first trigger you press the opposite, hold in the opposite trigger to properly cook the grenade, and then let them go. Whenever you cook it for 3 seconds or so. If you press the opposite trigger, you'll hear a second pin get pulled, and you'll be able to cook your grenade. A lot of people don't cook their grenades. I've noticed that. Some other mechanics is that you can scavenge magazines of the same caliber off of dead bodies, which is a pretty big deal. It took me a while to learn that I could do that in this game, which it's not a straightforward thing. It's not like it's in the tutorial settings or anything like that. They don't let you know that you can do that. My jumping into the next point is customization of your characters on this game. This is a milsim. Even though it's a video game, it's still a milsim. So being able to blend into your environment and not stand out is, I won't say a big deal, but it's part of it. So what you wear matters. If you want to dress flashy and wear magenta and peach and all that, by all means dress flashy. That's personal preference. But this is a milsim, so you want to try your best not to stick out. For my fourth point, I'm going to talk about map knowledge, and it takes time to learn all the maps. So as a new player, don't harp on yourself for not knowing everything, all the pushes, all the little cheeky spots people like to use. And also, don't follow the crowd. You can always think outside the box on this game. The restricted area doesn't mean you're gonna die if you flank through it. You just, after a couple of seconds, you're not able to shoot. Which I think is an alright mechanic. I wish you'd be able to use your melee still. You know, flank behind somebody, get a couple melee kills, and get on the objective. I feel like that would be, because you're taking the chance of getting caught with your pants down, so to speak, you know? So I feel like the restricted zone could get changed a little bit to make it a little more, you know, competitive. I feel like a lot more people would utilize flanks and play more to individual strengths. But with that being said,
dude, why do you look like a Marine?
With map knowledge, it's all about taking your time, learning the maps. Co-op is a very underrated way to learn the maps. If I was a new player, I jumped right into PvP. I shouldn't have. My KD has definitely suffered from that. But I threw myself into the lion's den and became a better player because of it.
Get moving.
My last point,
Relax, we got this.
I would like to say, is that classes have specific jobs. I see a lot of players who run, you know, gunner or snipers, and they'll play inside an objective, and that's fine and dandy. But this also comes back to map knowledge. As a gunner and sniper class, I feel like it's more their class's objective and style to play wide out and hold people away from the objective. Set up on those weird angles, those cheeky spots that allow you to not necessarily spawn trap, but hold them from spawn, from getting to the objective, and let your riflemen, your breachers, your demolitions, your commander and observer, let them play more tight to the objective. That should be more their job. They're more equipped for that sort of thing. But also, with that being said, it also depends on somebody's playstyle. If you run the Galil on the gunner class, obviously you don't need to be set up on one side of the spawn. You could throw on a 50-round drum mag with a recoil grip, compensator, whatever sight you prefer, and you can play aggressive on the capture. But the same thing with like demolitionists from other side. So on Insurgent side, I feel like having a rocket launcher with heavy carry is needed because security can call in helos. Because like if it's push security and you're defending as an insurgent, it's good to have that RPG in your backpack for when that helo support comes in. And it does take practice to shoot those things down, so don't be afraid to sit in the firing range and spawn a helicopter and continuously try to shoot them down. It takes some effort to get good at that. But like when you're on push security, if you want to set up your gun a little bit more and just run a 40 mic, or even the 35 millimeter with smokes or whatever, you can do that because there's not really anything you're gonna have to shoot down out of the sky. But you can shoot down the explosive drones. That's another thing not a lot of people I've noticed do. When it comes to commander and observer classes, you know, obviously playing back, playing the role of getting the air support, smoking the objective, kimming the objective, whatever you need to do. That's what the primary focus should be. But like I said, what I'm saying is mostly personal preference. It's just advice. You do with it whatever you want. When it comes down to it, it ultimately is your playstyle, depending on your class. So with all that being said, this is my 5 things every new Insurgency player should know. And you guys, stay killing it, stay frosty. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And have a great one.
You're not trying too hard.